Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm the Spiritual Genie, and tonight we are going to be going over part 2, the second part of the affidavit of arrest for Bryan Kohberger that we were going over last night. It was getting very intense and juicy at certain points. We did the entire walkthrough of the house. We did the virtual tour. I don't know if I really want to pull that up again, but actually it does have a good view of the front of the house and everything like that. So what you can see over here on this side, sorry, whoops, boom, boom. Here we go. Affidavit. Okay, so we're going to be, I'll blow that up in a minute here, and I'm going to go over there when I read it so that way I can see it fine. And we're going to go through the second part of this. Whew, it's getting crazy. Okay, so buckle up, get comfortable. Please like, share, subscribe if you love my vibe and want to become part of the tribe. You know I love you guys, and I would love to have you as part of the family here. Okay, so we're doing different stuff. We're doing some true crime stuff. It is a passion of mine, has been a passion of mine forever. I just didn't know there was a massive community for this, so here we are, and I'm feeling super happy and excited to just be sharing in all of this with you guys, because this affidavit is mind-blowing. It's very detailed, way more detailed than we thought it was going to be. The first part was just tragic and heartbreaking to walk through all of that and to literally take that virtual tour. So if you haven't seen that portion, you might want to go over there and go ahead and watch that one first before you watch this one. Watch part 1. This is going to be part 2 to that one. Excuse me. So let's get started. I don't want to waste any more time. I know everybody's kind of doing this similar thing, or there's at least a lot of people covering this right now, but actually seen mine first. I saw a major news outlet actually report on the same thing that I was reporting on, that the weapon could be in the Snake River right when another major news outlet had been reporting on it. Actually, I recorded it an hour before, so you saw it here first. I'll get better at live streaming too, you guys. Just bear with me. I'm not new at this per se, but I'm new at this kind of streaming and whatnot. Okay, we're gonna do things like bounce back and forth from Google Earth and the affidavit. So here you're seeing the residence, right? 1122 King Road. There's some strange things that I've learned in the past couple days from watching just as the details are emerging, right? All these details, more details emerging. We're going to even have a little bit of a bombshell piece of information too. So stay tuned, please. We will get to that. If you stay tuned, I will be dropping a bomb that you really probably don't want to miss. This is pretty big. This is big stuff. So yeah, here we go. We have King Road. All right. We are going to be looking at this. Here is where he allegedly parked his car, had been seen driving, turning around in front of the residence at the road, or some stuff like that. Driving very erratically after potentially committing these crimes. I'm going to be very careful about certain terminology that I use, even though it does kind of make me a little annoyed. I have to be like that. I did get my other video will be monetized, but it will be limited, which is fine. It just kind of really irks me that free speech is not a thing in any way. You can't even say terms like what? KILLE come on, dude. Get down. No. Trunks, you guys are being gross. My dogs are chewing on some bones right now. Seriously. Okay, can you take that nasty thing over there? Ugh. Gross. Okay, so I don't want to look at that right now while I'm doing this. Really? Really, God? No. All right, so yeah, we're going to be taking a look at the coordinates, the maps, all the forensic. The digital forensics is what's coming next here, basically, in this affidavit, right? So we got through this whole first part, several pages. There you have the redacted section, which we know is the autopsy report. All of this is very tragic. Where the bodies were found and the evidence that was found, which was the sheath of the knife, right, with Bryan Kohberger's DNA on the button snap of the sheath of that K-bar, military grade. What does it say? U.S. Marine Corps. Here it is. It says United States Marine Corps Eagle Globe with an anchor insignia stamped on the outside of it. So, right, very damning piece of evidence, which we're very, 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 very thankful for. Thank you, God, for allowing that piece of evidence to be recovered. I really feel like that's going to be a massive part of this, but an equally big part of this is going to be, proving Bryan's whereabouts. Bryan's whereabouts during the time of the crimes and where he went subsequently afterwards the next day. Why did he go 35 miles away next to the Snake River and get a cup of coffee at, Kate's Cup and go to Albertsons after that for buying some unknown objects, right? All very, very interesting. And it can all be mapped out because of his phone pinging to the cell phone towers, right? And being caught on camera, like not only in Moscow, but from from Pullman to Moscow, like leaving for the crimes, before the crimes occurred, being right at the location of the crimes during the time of the crimes. And then the next day going to a location like pretty far out of the way, right next to a giant river. Okay, why? Sorry, excuse me. I need to get some water. I just get so excited to record and come on here with you guys. So give me 1 second. I'm actually going to pull up the house again. There we go. Outside view. Okay, so right now we're seeing the outside view of 1122 King Road. So I'm guessing maybe what? Herb drove this way, up back here to Walenta Drive, or whenever he left, went up to Walenta. We're going to have to look at a map, but this is, this is Queen Road, I believe. You turn right around here, Queen Road, go up the hill a little bit, That's where we saw police body cam footage with that other house was up there. I think this one, or was this one up the road? I don't remember. Don't quote me on that. So either this is King Road or King Road is like on the other side, and this is Queen Road, which goes around King Road. Anyway, this is where he went up and around the house. So very creepy. All right, so here's the affidavit. Let's get past. Here we go. Okay. Okay, so that's all talking about Dylan's, her testimony or whatever, her witness statement as far as what she saw. So they're also saying right here, look, you guys, between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m., they're saying that's when the crimes occurred. But we know actually what we're going to find out when we read this is that Bryan was still in his car at 4:04, I believe. He's seen turning around and then parking right there on Queen Road. During the processing of the crime scene, okay, that's the shoe print. Here we go. Moving on. So we ended right there with, all right, let me just go over here. We ended yesterday. The last video, part 1, ended right here. During the processing of the crime scene, investigators found a latent shoe print. A bloody shoe print. This was located during the second processing of the crime scene by the ISP forensic team by first using a presumptive blood test and then amino black, a protein stain that detects the presence of cellular material. The detected shoe print showed a diamond-shaped pattern similar to the pattern of a Vans type shoe sole. Did they recover these shoes? Did they recover the Vans? Because that's something it doesn't talk about in here, but it mentions the Vans type shoe sole, which almost makes you wonder. And I didn't notice this, but that does really make you wonder. Did they find those Vans? Did he throw those away? He wouldn't have kept those shoes, right? I mean, come on, that would be absolutely ridiculous. So the Vans were probably, if they were his, if he was wearing Vans at the time, I would imagine he probably disposed of those with the rest of the clothing. So never mind. But you never know. I don't think you could be that. I don't think you could be that dumb unless you really were trying to get caught, which at a lot of times, this just seems like you are trying to get caught. Like so much evidence left behind and just so many like little clues, all these breadcrumbs just leading you straight to the front door of the person that did it. Like the narcissism is showing through with that. I mean, we'll just say. So the detected shoe print showed a diamond-shaped pattern, blah, blah, blah. The Vans shoe just outside the door of Dylan's bedroom, located on the second floor. This is consistent with Dylan's statement regarding the suspect's path of travel. Now let's look at something here really quick. Here we go. Let's look at something. Let's enter the house. Okay. Hold on now. Let me see. Oh my goodness. If you use 2 fingers, it does something different. Okay. Creeps McGeeps. You come in the house, right? Go up the stairs. I saw Truth and Transparency. It actually superimposed images of them. Look, it says bedroom 1A below. So I think 1A. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I do think 1A was I think 1A was the empty bedroom. Yes. Okay, let's go through. Wait, actually, no. Oh yeah, okay, so that'd be Dylan's bedroom over there. All right, creepy. Creepy. So as you guys know, in part 1, we already examined the crime. We did a walkthrough of the crime scene here in this virtual tour. So if you want to see that, go watch part 1. It's very powerful. Very powerful. So this is Anna's bedroom over here. You got the bathroom right in front. And through here, we're going to have Dylan's room. So let's go over here. All right. So this is like kind of the perfect little image that they show you right here. So you can almost imagine as the perp, I would imagine, is walking. Either he's walking down the stairs when she sees him, because it says in the affidavit that he walked right by her. That's what it said. I mean, let's see if we can find that. You guys can keep looking at that for a second. I'm going to look here at the affidavit. Let's see. The male walked past DM as she stood in a frozen shock phase. The male walked towards the back sliding glass door. So he walked past her. So if he walked past her, like right past her, he was coming down those stairs. Either that or he was like right there in front of her door, like when she opened the door, which may have just absolutely shocked her. I mean, honestly, that would shock me if I had just opened my door and there was a looming figure in black right there with a mask and all clad in black is what this says. Right there. Oh, you know what? Let's let you guys look. Boom. Right here says DM stated that she opened her door for the 3rd time and after she heard the crying. Now, the reason I'm talking about this right now is because people have definitely been talking about the whole Dylan situation a lot. It's really confusing for sure. I think for everyone is kind of, we're just wondering why you wouldn't call the police when you saw something very strange. But then there's also the case of maybe you don't know what you're seeing, or maybe the mind has very powerful defense mechanisms that can kick into play when you do certain things. When you do see certain things, we don't know what those 2 girls saw. We don't know what Bethany and Dylan saw exactly. We do not know what that 911 call sounds like. From what I'm gathering from the 911 call is like one of the girls was hyperventilating. One of the girls passed out. I mean, there was a lot of blood. When you would have, if Bethany had gone up the stairs at any point to go and maybe check on Dylan, or if Dylan was freaking out, you know, they obviously realized they needed to call 911 at one point. They knew that those others, that Ethan and Xana, were more than passed out because the amount of blood when they were laying on the floor, because they're both found on the floor, we found out here. The amount of blood would have been a lot. It was coming out of the walls of the outside of the house, right? So that being said, hold on, let me check the view. Oh, we've got The wrong view. I'm so sorry, you guys. Oh my gosh. I hope that any of you are even still watching. Please forgive me. Here we go. You don't want to be looking at me. You want to look at this. You want to see the goods, right? Sorry about that. I apologize very much so, y'all. But that's okay. That was the intro. We're getting into it now, right? So we left off here where Dylan is standing in a frozen shock phase as the male walked towards the back sliding glass door. Dylan locked herself in her room after seeing the male. Dylan did not state that she recognized the male. This leads investigators to believe that the perpetrator left the scene. See, but even in this document, they call it an emmerer. The emmerer left the scene. So I'm going to start calling it emmerer. How about that? You guys probably know, you can get my drift, right? They even call it that in the affidavit. Like, come on, give me a break. So I think right as soon as she saw him, she must have closed the door and he was just walking straight toward the sliding glass door. Or like, hold on, let's look back here at... Oh, never mind. No, he wasn't. Oh, well, I don't know, actually. Hold on. I don't know why I thought he was coming down the stairs. Now, that's a possibility. But actually, my bad, y'all. Let's go to the other side real quick. Whoops. God, I need to get a USB mouse. This is like amateur stuff. What's going on here? Okay, and then if I let it go, there we go. Boom. Okay, so actually, my bad, y'all. Well, we don't know where he came from. It depends on who was taken first, right? It depends on who was taken first and who was taken second. Did he do the second floor first, or did he do the third floor first? Because I'm pretty sure it was the second floor, I want to say. Because Murphy didn't start barking until 417. I think he was barking when his mama was in the next room getting, and so that's my opinion, at least. That's kind of what I've gathered. I feel like that makes the most sense. So I'm feeling like the perp started on the second floor and moved his way up to the third floor. Unless I'm wrong, and he went back. He could have, who knows, gone back to the other room to double check that those ones were dead. Or I kind of have always felt for some reason like he was coming down the stairs. Lord, stop doing that. I just want to go down. There we go. Kind of feel like he was coming down the stairs, and Dylan might have just been standing there. Either way, he was coming from the left or he was coming from the right. We don't know exactly. He walked right by her. I think he would have seen her personally. I mean, I think he knew she was there. He just knew he couldn't. He knew he didn't have time to get away with doing anymore. He had to go because the dog was barking, and all of that is going to get caught on camera, possibly. And it just starts increasing the risk of getting caught. Like, this guy has studied serial killers. Like, he knows about that kind of thing. He's not born yesterday. I mean, he's not the smartest when it comes to getting away with it, but maybe he never wanted to get away with it. I don't know. Maybe he never did really want to get away with it. Oh my God, you guys aren't even looking at the virtual tour. I'm fired. I don't think anyone's even going to watch this video after I just did that. So anyway, sorry guys. I thought you were seeing what I was seeing, but you were still over there. And let me go back over here. So, well, I'm glad you weren't seeing me make the camera all crazy, I guess. All right, so either he was coming from this way, right? Because this is where Ethan and Xana's room is, down this way to the left, down the hall right there. And this is where Dylan's room is. So either she was standing right here and he walked by this way, or... Okay, now I'm getting an idea of how to steer this thing. Jeez. Or he came down the stairs right here, boom, and he came down and then walked past her right here and then out the slider. Check it. Confirmed intruders entry and exit point. That's so creepy because that was definitely a point of conversation quite a bit. Like, how did they get in? I know there was a lot of back and forth when it came to that aspect of this case. So we know now for sure that this is where a person came in and out. So what the heck? Was the door open? That's just something. I think it was open. I just think that maybe that I think they were so just kind of young and naive or trusting or just used to the lifestyle, felt very safe that the door might have been left open. Unless, did the person get a hold of their key code somehow? I don't know. Maybe that's possible, but I think it was open personally. We're not going to, I don't know that. I don't know that for sure. That's just pure speculation. This is all for entertainment purposes. YouTube, this is all for educational purposes only. And so, yeah, with that being said, so that's where the affidavit, where we ended off yesterday, was all this. Was all this, doing the walkthrough of the house, the virtual tour, and just discussing the end of it right there, because there's a lot right there that's being said, I'm realizing, in this paragraph. Dylan stated she opened her door for the third time after she heard crying and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. So let's also remember that everything that's being said is, I think, just a little tiny sliver of what's in like a larger report. You know what I mean? The affidavit is nothing like the full reports are going to be fucking, excuse my language, goodness. The full reports are going to be like so many pages. You even know how many pages are probably going to be on those autopsies alone? Like, it's probably pretty good. It's probably pretty thick. I don't know that for sure. Don't quote me again, but I would guess that there's a lot of paperwork involved when it comes to anything like that. I actually already know that's true. I've known people who are police officers and things, and like that's one thing they say is actually like a big part of police work is paperwork. And I think that that's where they've messed up a lot of times in the past, because maybe people haven't been fully honest. They just wanted to get done with their stuff, so they didn't maybe do it properly. I don't know, but it seems like they're getting better about stuff like that nowadays, because it will compromise the whole case. And we've seen that happen. And actually, the defense attorney for Kohberger has actually, I believe, gotten a case acquitted for a man who took a lady out, took her life, ran her down or something weird with his car. I don't know. But she definitely does have her work cut out for her. So for me, this case seems pretty it seems like it's slam dunk. Slam dunk. That was my answer on the poll. All right, so let's continue. Here we go. Let me share this tab with y'all. The combination of Dylan's statements, law enforcement, reviews of forensics, downloads of records from Bethany and Dylan's phone, and video of a suspect video as described below leads investigators to believe the homicides occurred between 4 and 4:25, but actually it's something more like 4:04 and 4:25, which is trippy. It's just 20 minutes. That's it. Just barely took 20 minutes. During the processing, we found that, okay, sorry guys. Let's see. All right, here we go. As part of the, I don't know why I keep doing that. It's Mercury retrograde also. Bear with me. I love you guys. Okay. As part of the investigation, an extensive search, commonly referred to in law enforcement as a video canvass, was conducted in the area of the King Road residence. This video canvass was to obtain any footage from the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022, which I've now learned is also another significant date with something strange. So potentially if Bryan was the caller on the T-Rev show, which a lot of people have said no, but there's a lot of, it just hasn't been ruled out. We'll say that, right? It hasn't been ruled out that that wasn't him calling, because he's like, I'm into horror movies. And it really sounded like someone who was trying to kind of like either make themselves known or lead you down another path, right? So the Amityville horror movie, apparently, something about that, and November 13th being the day that the M's were committed in the movie or something like that, being the same date, right? November 13th. And then I can't remember the year, but also the address of the house was 1112. So very close. For someone who could potentially have a thing for horror movies, they might make that one of their little signatures. Let me find little connections and then recreate them in my own work, like they like to call it, in their projects, like Dennis Rader, the BTK. Emmerer called it. All right, so they collected footage in the area of the King Road residence, surrounding neighborhoods, in an effort to locate the suspect or suspects or suspect's vehicle traveling to or leaving from the King Road residence. This video canvas resulted in the collection of numerous surveillance videos in the area from both residential and business addresses. Let me also do something over here really quick. I want to pull up some pictures. I want to pull up pictures of Kaylee, Madison, Xana, and Ethan, because we need to honor them. I like to honor their memory and, remember what all of this is about. All of this is about these beautiful, oh, look at that. That's so sad. These beautiful young people who are just ripped out of this world by somebody so cold and so twisted and bizarre. Like it rips your heart out. I cry for their families and I cry for them every day. Like it just hits so close to home for me. Like I don't know why. It just breaks you down. Ugh, babies, rest in peace, you beautiful babies. You are going to get justice, okay? Lord, bring justice to this case, please, Lord. All right, let's see. I have reviewed numerous videos that were collected and that have, okay, they're just saying, this says I have reviewed numerous videos that were collected and have had conversations with the other MPD officers, ISP detectives, and FBI agents that are similarly reviewing footage that was obtained. The review of camera footage indicated that a white sedan hereafter, and now this is being called Suspect Vehicle 1, was observed traveling westbound in the 700 block of Indian Hills in Moscow at approximately 3:26 a.m. and westbound on Steiner Avenue at Idaho State University 95 in Moscow at approximately 3:28. So he arrived in the town of Moscow, is what this is saying, at around 3:26. Or at exactly 3:26, it says here. The vehicle was not displaying a front license plate, as we have learned apparently in Pennsylvania. You do not need to have a front license plate. A review of footage from multiple videos obtained from the King Road neighborhood showed multiple sightings of suspect vehicle 1 starting at 3:26 a.m. and ending at 4:20 a.m. Hold on, let me pull up something else for y'all. For the car. Which we've learned now also apparently wearing white medical gloves and cleaning the entire car post M's, post crime. It's kind of weird. Why would you be throwing your trash away in neighbors' trash cans and cleaning your car at all hours of the day and night in your house wearing gloves? Very weird. Very weird. So there's the suspect vehicle 1, the dirty little white Elantra, huh? That you just drove right up to the scene of the crime. Like, how dumb can one be? It really makes me wonder, because it just, either you didn't care. Like, BTK was the same way. BTK was the same way. He didn't care. He basically said, I'm like a shark. And when I have my sights set, on the victim, he was going to get them no matter what. He was going to get it done no matter what. So I kind of feel like that's how this one feels. Like, I don't know. I can't say what he feels, but it seems like you didn't really give a crap enough that you were going to just like willy-nilly do this thing. You were going to just do this thing, whatever. So Indian Hills Drive, Moscow. So, all right. So he's seen entering town this way. Huh. Where did he come off is the freeways over there to the left or something, or over here? It might be that road, actually, I think. Okay, coming down this way, probably driving kind of the little back roads, maybe. Here, Indian Hills. Probably going down that way. Going toward the scene. Oh, I don't know how to move on the dang map. I was able to do it last time. Why can't I do it? Weird. All right, well, here's the little main town of Moscow. Whatever, setting a pen. Oops. Oh, time lapse? Wait, what? Voyager? No. Sorry, guys. Bear with me right now. Okay. Whatever. Let's get back to the affidavit. We'll look at that. We'll look at that in a minute. Anyway, I just wanted to see where Indian Hills Road was. That's where he was seen coming into town at around 3:26. Wait, what? Yeah, okay. A review of footage from multiple videos obtained from the King Road neighborhood showed multiple sightings of suspect vehicle 1 starting at 3:29 a.m. and ending at 4:20 a.m. These sightings show suspect vehicle 1 make an initial 3 passes by the 1122 King Road residence and then leave via Wallenta Drive. Based off my experience as a patrol officer, this is a residential neighborhood with a very limited number of vehicles that travel in the area during the early morning hours. Upon review of the video, there are only a few cars that enter and exit this area during this time frame. So, that officer is trying to say right there, like, it's not normal for cars to just be driving around in that area at night. So if you are driving around in that area, you're definitely going to stick out. And it is also a weird time to just be driving around in that neighborhood. Like, it's out of place. How do you have an alibi, or can you say like, oh, well, the shopping's better, in Moscow, but like shopping at 4 a.m, I think not. Could claim that you were at a party or something like that. Maybe I was partying, I was at that party and I was, but what if no one can validate or corroborate that you were at the party? Like, I don't think he has an alibi like that. Nope. So it feels very, it's just reckless. Like, he's reckless in his behaviors. It seems like he doesn't care about getting caught. That's just my personal opinion, and we might find out more about that later, but I'm telling you, either it's that or you're that dumb. I don't know which one. So the police officer's already trying to tell the judge right here in this affidavit, like, this is not normal for people to really be driving around a whole lot right there at, 4:20 in the morning. Most people are sleeping. Apparently, even the college kids, they got to go to school and stuff. Suspect vehicle 1 can be seen entering the area a fourth time approximately at 4:04 a.m. So there you have it. It obviously the crimes weren't committed yet. He wasn't in the house yet if he was still entering the area a fourth time at 4:04 a.m. So let's go back to the map in a second. Let's just read this. It can be seen driving eastbound on King Road, stopping and turning around in front of 500 Queen Road, number 52, and then driving back westbound on King Road. When suspect vehicle 1 is in front of the King Road residence, it appears to unsuccessfully attempt to park or turn around in the road. The vehicle then continued to intersection of Queen Road and King Road, where it can be seen completing a 3-point turn and then driving eastbound again down Queen Road. Driving all erratically, all over the place, kind of not really giving a crap, but just I guess at this point being like, no matter what, I need to get this done because it was his mission, his nefarious mission. Sick and disgusting if it was. Suspect vehicle 1 is next seen departing the area of the King Road residence at approximately 4:20 a.m. at a high rate of speed. Okay, so interesting. You just parked, you stopped, and then what were you doing during the time of the M's? What were you doing? How do you explain that away? You know what I mean? B-girl, what? I'm not talking to you. My dog thinks I'm talking to her. B-girl, I'm doing my work, All right, so let's look at something here. Oh, to the house, okay. Oops. Wow, that's where it placed my marker. How weird. All right, so did I do that on accident or it just happened? That's weird. I think it did it. On purpose. Okay. So right here. Hold on, let's zoom in a little bit more. No. Okay. So it kind of gives you a better idea. So they came down here. Okay, this is Queen Road, I think. This is that intersection where where you did the 3-point turn. So tries to turn around. I don't know. Tries to turn around somewhere else, like over here or something like that. Or there, doesn't make it. I don't know. Tries to turn around or park, doesn't maybe make it, maybe up here. And drives back down, turns around. See, this is when I think, because they're saying that the DoorDash order got there at 4. I think he arrived and was like, crap, there's a car there. I think he needed to wait another minute. He couldn't just be pull up and park. So I think he did another loop around, went down here, turned back around. Then he finally came back up again and freaking parked back here. That is so creepy, or right here, parked right here. Because where's Walenta Drive? Is it this one? No, it's up. It's this way. Okay, hold on. We'll look at something else in a second. So yeah, he parked right over here, basically, in this tree line where he wouldn't be seen. Perfect little tree line, for creepy stalkers to peep. It just, and apparently get in and out without really being seen. That's just so creepy to me. Anyway, comes out here and then whatever. So he does the thing. He gets back in his car at 4:20 and is seen driving away at a high rate of speed. He is then seen going southbound on Walenta Drive. Based on my knowledge of the area and review of camera footage in the neighborhood that does not show suspect vehicle 1 during that time frame, I believe that suspect vehicle 1 has likely exited the neighborhood at Palouse River Drive and Conestoga Drive. Palouse River Drive is at the southern edge of Moscow and proceeds into Whitman County, Washington. Eventually, the road leads to Pullman, Washington. Pullman, Washington is approximately 10 miles from Moscow, Idaho. Both Pullman and Moscow are small college towns, and people commonly travel back and forth between them. Law enforcement officers provided video footage of suspect vehicle 1 to forensic examiners with the Federal Bureau of Investigation that regularly utilized surveillance footage to identify the year, make, and model of an unknown vehicle that is observed by one or more cameras during the commission of a criminal offense. The forensic examiner has approximately 35 years of law enforcement experience, with 12 years at the FBI. His specific training includes identifying unique characteristics of vehicles, and he uses a database that gives visual clues of vehicles across states to identify differences between vehicles. So they've gotten good at this over the years, is what they're trying to say. This guy's an expert for over 35 years, or around 35 years, has been working in forensic video footage analysis. It's a forensic examiner of digital forensics. Okay, it seems like. So, all right, so he comes out, right? He drives out of here after commits the crimes, boom, gets in his car, hauls out, he comes out this way. He's driving fast down these roads right here. And then he makes this left turn and he goes right up around here. He, look, goes down right here. Boom, comes down over here around. This is taking you around Walenta Drive. Okay, this is Walenta Drive. This is that blue house, I'm pretty sure. You can see the truck in the driveway that people were concerned about at one point. Like, who lives in that house? You can see the house, which you really can. From this house, you have a crazy view of the backyard of this house of 1122 King Road. So that always caught my attention. I was always analyzing the roads and kind of trying to see like who had the vantage point, like what could you see from where. You could definitely see this house, the backyard, and potentially even in through the windows from this house. So that was just something interesting that I had noticed. But it turns out Walenta Drive is significant because this is the road that the perp potentially took to another road, which led out of town from Moscow to Pullman. So the investigator's saying he thinks that that's the road. He thinks those are the roads, Conestoga, whatever, that he took. We don't really know why he's saying that. Maybe there's more right there that they're just not disclosing. Or maybe that's where the camera footage ends for them in Moscow and it picks up again in Pullman. So after reviewing the numerous observations of suspect vehicle 1, the forensic examiner initially believed that suspect vehicle 1 was a 2011, originally believed it was a 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra, but upon further review, he indicated it could also be a 2011 to 2016 Hyundai Elantra. As a result, investigators have been reviewing information on persons in possession of a vehicle. So they had basically started from looking at people with 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra and expanded that from into 2011 to 2016. So they expanded the search, which made them have probably many more Elantras that they had to look into. But as certain little pieces started to come together, boop, 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 beep, then boom, you've got your, then you got your suspect or suspects, right? But in this one, it was a pretty clear one suspect where police have said, let's not forget what Officer Fry said. What Chief Fry said, he said he is confident this is our guy. Like, I don't think he would say that unless he was confident. Imagine letting the families down. Like, no, he wanted to get this guy just as much as everyone and prove to everyone they weren't just sitting there with their thumbs in the you-know-what. They were really, really on top of this. So once again, I'm just going to say hats off to y'all. And we love you guys, law enforcement. Thank you, Moscow PD and the FBI, for actually, you know, coming together and working with the public and everybody else. Thank you guys. Thanks everyone that came together to even just energetically contribute to this. It's not solved, you know, but to all of this happening so quickly, to us getting so much information. Like, you know, they knew that we wanted this, and so I think that we've all been so invested, and the public has helped. So it was kind of like, give us something, please. Let us know something, because I think this is going to be about it, like, until trial or beyond. Like, we're not going to be getting a lot until then. So yeah, later it says that investigators were given access to the video footage on Washington State University. Campus located in Pullman, Washington. Review of that video indicated that at approximately 2:44 a.m. on November 13th, 2022, so at 2:44 a.m., a white sedan, which was consistent with the description of the white Elantra known as Suspect Vehicle 1, was observed on WSU surveillance cameras traveling north on Southeast Nevada Street at Northeast Stadium Way. So, hold on. Oh, right there, man. Pullman's so dang close. That's crazy. It's just like, boop, right there. So, okay, I'm guessing he lives nearby. Definitely living nearby, okay? I don't know exactly where he lives right off the top of my head, but that's what they're talking about right there. And I just kind of wanted to have you guys see that too for a second, how it just boop right over to Pullman, and it's just a stone's throw away, quite literally. All right, so basically he's leaving Pullman at 2:44 a.m., right? Bryan Kohberger is leaving, or suspect vehicle 1. See, what the defense might try and do is say like someone else was driving his car or stole his car. You know, I feel like they might try and say that. They could try and use that, because they're calling it suspect vehicle 1. They're never naming they're only naming the suspect when Dylan witnessed him. When she saw him, that was when they mentioned suspect. But here it's like suspect vehicle. So you can't really say the suspect was in that vehicle. It is the suspect's vehicle, but they're not saying that he was in that vehicle. But the cell phone, though. So actually, they are going to corroborate all of that. Let's keep going. Leaving Pullman around 2:44. B-girl, lay down or something, girl. Come on. Come here. Get up here. Lay down. What are you doing? You're being super weird. I think you want something. I just don't really know what it is. What do you want? Oh, you want that? Go get it. There, go take your bone. Over there. Over there. There it is. Good girl. It's right there. Her brother stole her bone. She wanted that bone. Okay. Staring at me just like intently. Like, okay, I'm sorry. Here, take it. I don't know what you want. I don't know what you want. Okay. Eat your bone now. Leave me alone. Eat your bone. Sorry, guys. Okay, let me get back to this. I was just reading. White Elantra, known as Suspect Vehicle 1, was observed on surveillance cameras traveling north, and we already saw that. So at 2:53, the white sedan, which was consistent with the description of the White Elantra known as Suspect Vehicle 1, was heading toward SR Route 270, connecting Pullman to Moscow. So at 2:53, the suspect vehicle was leaving Pullman. Not to say the suspect was leaving was his phone, though. We're going to get to that next. And that is so curious. So anyway, here's the little map. Here's the little map of like all the locations where his phone was caught, or his sorry, his car was caught on camera. So here's all the little dots, the locations where the car was caught on camera, right? And it said here that, again, at approximately 5:27, that white Elantra that was observed on cameras traveling northbound on Stadium Way at Nevada Street. So the same white Elantra. There's a lot of wording going on here, actually, that is interesting. I did not notice it the first time. I feel like I could probably read through this thing many times and catch like many different nuances and subtleties. So one that I'm noticing right now is the way that they refer to things. And, you know, the white Elantra was observed on camera traveling northbound on Stadium Way at Nevada Street, Stadium Way at Grimes Way, Stadium Drive at Wilson Road, and Stadium Way at Cougar Way. So he made this like freaky loop, right? From Pullman into Moscow, and then back to Pullman by 5:27. So at 5:27, no, at 5:27 he comes back into Pullman. That's when when that car is seen again. Excuse me. When the suspect vehicle comes back, it is seen on camera again at 5 something and leaving at 2:53. Okay, so 2:50, from between 2:53 and 5:27 a.m. Where was the person driving suspect vehicle number 1? Because the crimes were definitely committed within that time frame, now weren't they? Which would make it seem very odd if the person driving suspect vehicle number 1, which suspect vehicle 1, it's likely the suspect driving their own vehicle, unless somebody just stole your identity real quick to go and do this, which, I mean, the defense might try it. They might try it. I wouldn't put it past them. So this is a smaller map basically showing the locations around the campus where he was seen leaving and directions of travel. On November 25th, 2022, MPD asked area law enforcement agencies to be on the lookout for the white Elantra in the area. When did they let us know about that? Did they tell us to be on the lookout for the white Elantra at the same time? Or did that come later? They've known about this white Elantra since November 25th. No, I don't think we've known about the Elantra since November 25th. I don't remember exactly the day they told us about it. I know it was after that. So it was in December at some point. They already knew so much before they even told us literally anything, you guys. But they figured there were certain things that were going to be good for the public to be able to help with. They were like, you know, obviously we're going to need their help getting that white Elantra, like, or getting, you know, and there's so many tips came in. It was like amazing. So they've been knowing about that since November 25th. And this says on November 29th, 2022 at approximately 12:28 a.m., Washington State University WSU police officer Daniel Tiengo queried white Elantras registered at WSU. As a result of that query, he located 2015 white Elantra with a Pennsylvania license plate LFZ8649. This vehicle was registered to Bryan Kohberger, hereafter Kohberger, residing at 1630 Northeast Valley Road, apartment 201. Hold on now. 1630. One 360 Northeast Valley Way, Pullman, Washington. Zoom it on in. Let's hide get that. Make it 3D. Let's get this. Let's go down here. Wait. Wait, so are those? Ah, we're in the road. So those ones are those ones. Heck, that. Hold on, maybe the apartment. Let me see. Hold on, guys. I want to put the apartment number in. Let's see if it works. Mm-mm. Oh, there we are. All right, take me in. Take me down to the paradise city. Just kidding. Don't take me down there. I don't want to go. I won't go. Can we go down? Oh yeah, I gotta put the little guy over here. Doot, doot. Okay. Whatever. These are his apartments. Oh, there we go. Sorry. All right. Those are his apartments. Glad you guys actually weren't there for that. You haven't been seeing when I've been getting all erratic over there. Okay. So just as erratic as this one's driving, can you believe it? I sure was pretty astounded and floored whenever this freaking affidavit came out. The first part was the hardest, but the next part's so interesting because this is like what connects, you know, Mr. Kohberger to these crimes. So they're saying around November 29th, like they had pretty much known about Bryan Kohberger being the owner of this 2015 white Elantra with Pennsylvania license plate. What strikes me is he knew they were looking for that car. So, or no, he didn't know actually yet. I guess he didn't know yet that they were looking for the car. Let's get back to it. So that's 1630 Northeast Valley Road, apartment 201 is his apartment, Pullman, Washington. Creepy. 3/4 of a mile from the intersection of Stadium Way and Cougar Way. Last camera to pick up the white Elantra, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And it's saying here in the affidavit that when Officer Whitman ran the car, it returned to Kohberger with a Washington tag. I reviewed Kohberger's Washington State driver's license information and photograph. The license indicates that Kohberger is a white male with a height of 6 feet and weighs 185 pounds. Same build of someone I used to know. Additionally, the photograph of Kohberger shows that he has bushy eyebrows. Kohberger's physical description is consistent with the description of the male DM saw inside the King Road residence on November 13th. So they're like creating links here. They definitely had kind of, you know, Dylan did get she gave a pretty good description of the guy. She did. I was pretty impressed with that. I was impressed with her description. And I thought, you know, for being in such a state of shock, you kind of must have took some type of photographic image, but you did remember, she remembered, you know, at least pretty generally the height and the weight and such. The build, at least, not the weight, but the build, right? Which matches this, which matches the description of Kohberger. So the cops were already like way honed in when they realized all that, you know, they were like, oh, like definitely, you know, you don't get yourself like, you don't get excited too soon, but like they must have already been like, we've got a suspect, like we've got our suspect, dude. Like, so further investigation, including a review of Latah County Sheriff's. So if they were asking us to look for the white car, was that silly? Did they put us on a goose chase? Because did they already they already found it. Oh, they wanted us to find it in footage and things like that, right? So when that was done by the public very well, hats off to all y'all. You did a good job. Truth and transparency, you've been doing amazing sleuthing. I've definitely been on it, following your channel, loving your work. Beautiful true crime community. Most people's hearts are in the right places for sure. We care. I care. I mean, I can only speak for myself, but I definitely give a shit, you know? So let's just go down a little bit more and see about the phone stuff. Oh, they're just talking about his phone number right there. I don't know. Oh, because they're going to start going into the phone record stuff. On October 14th, 2022, Bryan Kohberger was detained as part of a traffic stop by a WSU police officer. Upon review of that body cam and report of the stop, Kohberger was the sole occupant and was driving a white 2015 Hyundai Elantra with Pennsylvania plate. That could become a problem. You know, let's hope that the police were following like total protocol, because that is where the defense actually has a strength, and she finds those weaknesses with the police officer. So hopefully everything's been being done fairly legit. I don't really know in too many circumstances where any ball was dropped. It seems like everything was actually handled quite quickly and concisely here. I'm actually so impressed. Okay, it's talking about the plates, and then it's talking about Kohberger registering and getting Washington plates for the car. Right. Okay, nothing too exciting going on here. We already know all of that. Like, we don't really need to go any further until we know that the Elantra was his car, right? And they've established that this is his phone number that they've got. It doesn't show the whole number, but it's the 8458 phone is how they're talking about it. So, and that, look at that. Check it out. So right here now, this is where it gets a little interesting again. Using cellular tower resources in close proximity to the King Road residence between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. So they were able to show when a query returns. Oh, not using cellular between 3 and 5 a.m. Very interesting. So the phone was on and it was pinging up until 3 o'clock in the morning. What time did he leave, Pullman? 2:56. Or what time did suspect vehicle 1 leave? 2:56, right? At 3 o'clock, just about 2:58, 2:56 was seen leaving town. And turned it back on at 5 a.m. And the M's were done being committed around 4:25, they're saying, and he was seen pulling up back in Moscow at 5:25-ish or something like that. So the phone went off right as he was leaving town, or right as that vehicle was leaving town, or right as he was leaving town, because they could probably see his location up until that point. So it turns off, and then he was almost back in town. But did he turn it on before he got back in town? Weird. Based on my training experience and conversations with law enforcement officers that specialize in the utilization of cellular telephone records as part of the investigations, individuals can either leave their cellular telephone at a different location before committing a crime or turn their cellular telephone off prior going to a location to commit a crime. Ooh, that's kind of scary to know. But also makes it a little obvious looking, but still it does make your phone kind of disappear for a little while. This is done by subjects in an effort to avoid alerting law enforcement that a cellular device associated with them was in a particular area where a crime is committed. So they're giving him They're giving probable cause right there. That's probable cause. They're saying that it looks bad that he turned off his phone during the time that those crimes were committed, and that car was seen all over the place. Like, that's obvious because you don't necessarily even need all of this. You see that car on camera going here, there, and here and there, but the phone ties his person directly, which could also potentially have been inside the car or something, I guess, if the defense is going to try to go that route. I think the prosecution has way stronger evidence than that. That's just like silly, but hey, they're going to have to do what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to also explore all avenues of possibility. So they're saying that, it definitely criminals will turn their phones off, or they will leave their phone at home or leave their phone somewhere else while they go commit a crime so that they don't get caught. Their cell phone doesn't get caught pinging. I also know that on numerous occasions, subjects will surveil an area where they intend to commit a crime prior to the date of the crime. Depending on the circumstances, this could be done a few days before or for several months prior to the commission of a crime. So they're going to go into the stalking now. During these types of surveillance, it is possible that an individual will not leave their cellular telephone at a separate location or turn it off since they do not plan to commit the offense on that particular day. So they've seen patterns like what they're seeing in Bryan before. They've seen these patterns already before. And so, remember that the guy who's handling this aspect of the case, the digital forensics, he's been doing this for 35 years. So he's saying he's commonly seen a pattern of these type of offenders, of stalkers and emmerors and these type of criminals doing this type of behavior with their phone. So he would know. But that's how when, in court and whatnot, and when they call people in as witnesses or you got to testify, even the coroners and everything like that. Hold on. I got lost. What happened? Oh, there we go. So he's definitely putting, making it very obvious to the judge and presenting it in a way that it's like, okay, look, this is actually, it ties things in together a little bit more. It makes it make a little bit more sense. Make it make sense, right? He's trying to make it make sense. So he's saying that they will commonly not turn it off when they're just in stalking mode. So when they're in stalker mode, they won't turn their phone off. So that is something good to know. On December 23rd, 2022, I applied for and was granted a search warrant for historical phone records between November 12th, 2022 at 12 a.m. and November 14th at 12 a.m. for the 8458 phone held by the phone provider AT&T, approximately 24 hours preceding and following the times of the homicides. Okay. On December 23, 2022, so on December 23rd, pursuant to that search warrant, I received records for the 8458 phone from AT&T. The records indicated that the 8458 phone is subscribed to Bryan Kohberger at an address in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania, and the account has been open since June 23, 2022. This is where I was saying that the evidence is so damning, you guys, because now they've not only linked Bryan to the vehicle that was spotted all around during the times of the crimes and near the home during the times of the M's. And they're now linking the phone and the car to Bryan. And the phone was what was showing his movements, right? The stalking. So they were able to figure out that he was in their general area, their immediate area, for I think it was like up to several months. Hold on now. Historical information on June 23rd, 2022. Oh, okay. Wait, what happened? Was something redacted? No. Okay. Okay, June 23rd, 2022. So way back in June in the summertime, right? These records also included historical cell site location information, CSLI, for the 8458 number. After receiving this information, I consulted with an FBI special agent that is certified as a member of the Cellular Analysis Survey Team, CAST. Members of CAST are certified with the FBI to provide expert testimony in the field of historical CSLI and are required to pass extensive training that includes both written and practical examinations prior to be certified with CAST, as well as the completion of yearly certification requirements. Additionally, so it's like making it all make sense and saying like, hey, the people that are working on this case are like, they are like hardcore professionals, right? Professionals have been in the field for years, are really masters of their craft. So that's reassuring. Then you're going to get undeniable evidence, right? And that gets harder and harder for the defense to that gets harder for the defense to fight, because the jury wants the evidence, and the evidence is what proves the case, right? So yeah. All right, so let's see. At the night of the Emmers, at the M's, on November 13, 2022, at approximately 2:45 a.m., the 8458 phone was utilizing cellular resources that provide coverage to 1630 Northeast Valley Road, apartment G201, Pullman, Washington, here after the Kohberger residence at approximately 2:47 a.m. So it's still there at 2:47 a.m. All right, and then at 2:47 a.m., at 2:42 a.m., he's still at home. At 2:47 a.m., he's leaving his residence and traveling south through Pullman. This is consistent with the movement of the white Elantra. At approximately 2:47 a.m., the phone stops reporting to the network, which is consistent with either the phone being in an area without cellular coverage, the connection to the network is disabled, such as putting the phone in airplane mode, or that phone is turned off. So it doesn't report again to the network until 4:48 a.m., at which time it utilized cellular resources that provide coverage to ID State Highway, Idaho State Highway 95 south of Moscow, Idaho, near Blaine, Idaho, north of Genesee. Between 4:50 a.m. and 4:26 a.m., the phone utilizes cellular resources that are consistent with the 8458 phones. Travel is consistent with that of the white Elantra. Okay. Wow. So it was like whoever had Bryan's phone also had his car. Interesting. Very, very, very interesting. Whoever had Bryan's phone had Bryan's car, and it seemed like Bryan had his car all the time. His car didn't get stolen or anything like that. He didn't report it stolen. He was driving the car right after the crimes were committed, was he not? He was driving the car around. He was going to school. He was cleaning out his car. So he had that car in his possession all the time, right? Because, I mean, how can you... honestly, he should have ditched that car. And that would have... If he could have ditched it somewhere and said it got stolen, it would have even been a better plan. It would have been a better plan than... I can't believe with all of this information. Oh, I didn't even show you guys what I wanted you to see. Getting tired. So yeah, he had this car all along. It never got stolen. So how do you explain that? It's just kind of hard to explain that. How do you explain it getting stolen or not being, being maybe someone else committing the crimes if like you had your car? Oh, you could say you were asleep and maybe someone took the car and then someone just took your car and then they must have just kindly brought it back whenever they were done, right? Okay, explain that. Oh, but they also had your phone maybe your phone was in the car. It's just so ridiculous. Like trying to explain this. It's going to be such an interesting trial, which I really want to do a tarot reading about but I don't think I'm going to be able to get to it tonight. I'm going to get to that soon. No, not tonight. All right, so they've linked the phone. They've linked the car to Bryan. They've linked the locations and the map and the areas where he was traveling. Hold on. Possible route based off cellular device location. So it's a possible route to Moscow. It says, did connect to a cell tower that provides service to Moscow on November 14, 2022, but investigators did not believe the 8458 phone was in Moscow on that date. The 8458 phone has not connected to any towers that provide service to Moscow since that date. So potentially what? Since November 14th or so? Since November 14th or so, basically, that phone has not been in Moscow again. So if you love shopping there so much, why haven't you been there again at all after the date of the crimes happened? Very interesting. Almost like you were trying to not have that white car directly over there in Moscow, but you were just a stone's throw away in Pullman. It's just mind-boggling. Like the dumbest criminals ever. Based on my training experience and the facts of investigation thus far, I believe that Kohberger, the user of the 8458 phone, was likely the driver of the white Elantra that was observed departing Pullman, Washington, and that this vehicle is likely suspect vehicle 1. See, likely. So they can't say for sure because you got to be able to place him directly in there, and they might not be able to do that exactly unless, well, they will, and we'll get to that. Additionally, the route of travel of the 8458 phone during the early morning hours of November 13, 2022, and the lack of the 8458 phone reporting to AT&T between 2:47 and 4:48. Whoops. Where'd it go? Oops. Oh, was that the end? Frick. Oh, that's going to be the little trip outside of town. Oh, okay. It's talking about the stalking. Hold on, let me go back. Here we go. It's okay. So it's basically saying the phone not reporting suddenly between the hours of the crimes, but having been reporting at all these other times is consistent with Kohberger attempting to conceal his location during the quadruple homicide that occurred at the King Road residence. So, wow, that is quite accusatory. That's quite accusatory, but I mean, come on. It's almost like even the affidavit feels like enough to take him down, in my opinion. A lot of people are like, is it enough? I think it is enough. So I think you've watched long enough. For those of you that wanted the tidbit, you might have seen it on another channel, but it was curious if this one has been in communication with BTK, right? But apparently BTK spoke out and hold on. Apparently, BTK spoke out and said that he has never had direct communication with Kohberger. Can we believe anything BTK says? No, the guy is obviously a narcissist, a pathological liar, a psychopath, all those things. So you can't really believe anything he says because, like, what I said was lying for him is like, it's like breathing, it's like blinking, like. And I really wish people would stop calling this one BCK because you just love that. Like, oh, I just want to be the grandson of BTK. Like, let me be his protege, Or maybe it'll piss him off because he wanted to have his own thing. But I think he studied the heck out of this one. And the fact that he's getting his little name label, it kind of makes me sick. But, oh, well. I'm just calling him Bryan Kohberger, period. And that's what I'm calling him. I'm not giving him a special name. You don't get a name from me at that. Just like Ted Bundy was Ted Bundy, you're going to be Bryan Kohberger, and that's who you are. Stop calling him BCK. So you guys are trying to turn him into a cereal? Don't do it. It's a gross cereal that I never want anything to do with. Okay, so yeah, they're saying that the phone was utilizing cellular resources all these other times except for that little window of time. So why would that be? That doesn't make any sense, right? Or it does make all the sense in the whole world. Oh, and at 12:36 p.m., the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources that would provide coverage to Kate's Cup of Joe. Let's go back. We were doing this. Oops, you guys are looking at that, aren't you? I was looking at the affidavit. No, you're looking at the affidavit. Okay, cool. So let's go here. So here's his apartment. Creepy. Dahmer lived in an apartment too. Ted Bundy lived in an apartment. Let's see. Ted Bundy had a girlfriend for a long time. But anyway, okay, Kate's. No, here we go. Here we go. God, that is crazy. Right on the dang river. Like, look at that. And there's docks like all right there. That's a dock that you can just pull your car right up to. We already looked at that. If you haven't seen part 1, please go see part 1. Very explosive, very tragic walkthrough of the house as the police walk through the house in the affidavit. We break down the first part, and now we're breaking down the second part, part 2. So Kate's Cup of Joe's, where he went. This is where he went. And here's Granite Lake Park right over there. So the next day, not even the next day, the same day, but in the afternoon, 12:36 or something like that. God, wouldn't you be exhausted by now doing all this? Like, yeah, you would need to get a cup of coffee, wouldn't you? Let's see. I want to turn this mode on. No street data is available. So whatever. That's Kate's Cup of Joe. Okay. Oh my God, it's the white Elantra. No, I'm just kidding. So this is where he went at 12:36 p.m. What the heck? For what reason? Here's the coordinates, which are pretty much the same coordinates, almost the same coordinates as right over here by the Snake River. So, oops. Like over here. At least look this way. Oh, it's taking us there. Okay, here's Granite Lake Park. So let me zoom out again, actually. Boom. And here's that dock. See the car right here? Pulled up to that dock. I mean, I don't know. I just definitely get vibes of a dock, but there's multiple docks. So the water looks pretty deep right there. I think you could probably throw a dark colored duffel bag or something like that in there. And it would sink maybe far enough at that point that, I don't think anyone would just go and be dredging things up out of the river right there, but it could definitely sink far enough that it might be lost from sight, Is this where he disposed of the weapon? I mean, I really feel like it could be. It definitely feels like, why would he go here? And then you go to Albertsons. And so when he did that at 12:36, what they were about to say in this affidavit is that he is seen at one point at the Albertsons getting out of the white Elantra. Boom. See, this is very important right here, you guys. This part of the affidavit is super important, okay? Listen up. At approximately 12:46, the 8458 phone then utilized cellular data in the area of the Albertsons grocery store at 400 Bridge Street in Clarkston, Washington. So if Kohberger was driving his car at 12:36 p.m., then he was likely driving it at from 3 to 5 a.m. when his phone was off, right? Who else would have had his car? It didn't magically get stolen from you with your phone in it, and for 2 hours someone took it on a joyride and then brought it back to you, and then you drove it after that. That is not going to make sense to any sane person. Please don't even try to please don't what's the word? I forget. I can't think of words anymore. I've been working. I'm still working. But this is fun work. At least it's interesting. I reading this the second time, I'm getting so much more out of this. Like, they literally tied him to the phone, to the car during the times of the M's, all around in the same areas. Like, the evidence is beyond damning. So let's see. One last thing. On December 27, 2022, Pennsylvania agents recovered the trash from the Kohberger family residence located in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. The evidence was sent to the Idaho State Lab for testing. On December 28, 2022, the Idaho State Lab reported that a DNA profile obtained from the trash and the DNA profile obtained from the sheath identified a male as not being excluded as the biological father of suspect profile. 99.9998. So there's what? I don't even know what that sliver of chance is. Very, very, very small chance of the male population would be expected to be excluded, okay, from the possibility of being the suspect's biological father. So that would literally exclude just about everyone. Just about everyone that doesn't share DNA with his dad. So that could be like his cousins, if he has any, brother. It'd be like, yeah, this guy, it'd be his father's family members, basically. Anyone that has the same DNA. So only members within that family tree would have that same DNA, basically. And it would exclude all others else. So, very interesting. And all of this was enough for police to issue an arrest warrant. And this was apparently the tiniest bit of information that we could get, and it's also a lot. It's also a lot, y'all. It's a lot, okay? So isn't this interesting, though, about what BTK, it's almost like BTK, he revels in any amount of attention. Like, this is all, he's just definitely, he's getting his rocks off by all of this. But he has come out and said, which I don't know if I believe or not, he's come out and said that Bryan Kohberger has not contacted him, and he has never had a direct communications with him besides potentially through Dr. Ramsland. So I don't believe anything this guy says, though. Why would he tell us? If he thinks that it wouldn't benefit him in some way, he wouldn't tell us. He could potentially have secret correspondence going on with him. Who knows? Could he have been somehow trying to help him? We do not know that. We will not know that unless this one says something or he changes his story. But I do think he definitely, he studied he studied BTK through Dr. Ramsland in that serial killer class. Excuse me. Am I supposed to say that? Am I not supposed to say that? And of course, Dr. Ramsland knows all about BTK because she wrote the book on him, And so BTK was definitely one that he was studying. Right? One that Bryan was studying in school. And even BTK's daughter, bless her heart, had come out at one point and said, I really fear that he has had correspondence with my father. And if you know anything about BTK, he's one scary dude, is what he would say, as he was literally taking the lives of people. He's the epitome of scary. The dude's like the dang. All these ones are like devils incarnate, right? But BTK he's scary, and the way he talks about taking people's lives is as if it's like, it's also like breathing for him. It's just no big deal. It's like going to the grocery store, oh, well, I stepped on an ant. It's no big deal. Karma. That's how he thinks of human life. He has no regard for human life whatsoever. And these types of narcissists, sociopathic, psychopaths only do things to suit themselves. So like, if they don't feel like it's going to suit them, they're not going to do it. They're not going to say it. They're not going to tell you the truth, whatever. So we don't really know, but I do find it really interesting that BTK suddenly wanted to come out and get in the media frenzy a little bit. let's not let the same thing happen here, Lord, please. I'm sorry. I don't know what y'all believe, but let me explain something. This guy over here, boom. This one over here, I can't, I'm like dyslexic. This one over here, right? BTK, he gets to sit in a jail, a plush, like not even plushy, but he gets to sit in a jail cell for the rest of his life. The dude gets off on his own memories of the things that he's done. He lives in a fantasy land. He probably draws those things out. He gets to have access to the memories, to the images. He gets, probably people send him pictures. They probably, whatever he wants. He has a fucking fan club, excuse my language. He probably has a fan club, you know, and which is really sick to think about. But a lot of these emperors have ended up with women just throwing themselves at them. Like, it's sick. There are gonna be potentially incels that are like worshiping this one, and if they aren't already, you know, it's just like sad to see fans happen. It's sad to see the sick preoccupation with the actual KILLers, because they're depraved, right? And if this one is guilty, if Bryan is guilty, like, let's not let him sit in a plushy cell, or with his life sit in a cell. Like Kaylee's mom had said, she wishes that Maddie and Kaylee could be living life in prison, you know, but they don't have their lives anymore now because of him. They don't have their lives now anymore because of him. But if he gets to sit in a jail cell and we all get to tax pay his vegan meals for the rest of his life, while he gets to have a fan club and get all the attention he ever desired, like, no, please. Is that really what we want? I mean, come on. So that's the bombshell. The BTK came out and said that, and he was like being very adamant, but it's like, dude, we don't believe you just because you say it. He just really wanted to get himself out there. He just gets off knowing that we're out here talking about him, and he probably has access to look at things. I'm sure he will see a lot of things that are going to refer him. He's loving this right now. He's just thinking, oh, my protege, you know, and which, it's just such disrespect on the victims and the families, and it's just gross. Don't give these ones power, you guys. Like, we got to discuss this case though. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I am going to be finishing this up now and heading out of here. I've been working hard, but I really wanted to get this to you guys. I had kind of wanted it to go maybe even a little smoother, but you know, a lot of this was just kind of breaking down and putting together, you know, the timelines of things. And I really did want to kind of chew through this thing and really look at it differently. I would even have to read it again because I still haven't seen everything like piece by piece. But that last little bit, that we saw about, I don't look at them anymore. The last little bit that we saw about them basically tying Kohberger to the scene of the crime, the phone, the car, like, come on. I think it's a slam dunk. Tell me what y'all think in the comments. Tell me if you think the defense has a hard job ahead of them, or do you think that is it shaky? You know, is the foundation shaky for the prosecution? I don't think so. I really am feeling like the prosecution has a very strong case here, and I'm praying for the fullest extent of the law to be enacted here, right? The fullest extent of the law. I want that for the families. It's not about us. Let's remember that. It's not about what we want. What the families want will be taken into consideration when all is said and done. And it's like, either this dude is getting life in prison or he's getting the D penalty, if you know what I mean. Or M. Night Shyamalan twist in a bad way, and I'm really praying for not that type of twist. I wasn't thinking that type of twist would happen. I'm thinking good twist, right? Good twist. Or not good twist even, but maybe just strange twist. But let's not have the twist be getting off scot-free like OJ Simpson or something. I don't even want to say that. I don't even want to curse this. I don't think that is even possible at this point with everything that's come out. This affidavit is like enough for me. Even if I was a jury member, I would already be like, I know you can't just like convict someone of life in prison or potentially D penalty upon, but it would definitely already start to get me thinking like, well, who else are the suspects? Are there any other suspects? No, this is the only suspect. So The entire case is being built against Bryan Kohberger. No one else. Unless he comes out and says like someone else was involved, which would be weird. But a lot of people are saying they still think someone else was involved. I personally think he's too much of a narcissist. I think a lot of them would probably not necessarily want to have help because they would really like to just take all the credit for it, because that's how narcissists are. So anyway, that was the full unpacking of the affidavit of arrest, the arrest affidavit for probable cause of Bryan Kohberger. We did the walkthrough, the virtual tour in the first part, and this second part, we did a lot of comparing and analysis of, you know, the digital forensics and also the timelines of everything, right? And the maps. We looked at the location where he went directly after the crimes were committed, and we can definitely even say that for sure. We can say that we know that he had his car and his phone the same day at 12:36 because he went. Hold on. Now I can't change that. Oh, there it is. Geez, I didn't know I wouldn't show it. So we know he went here, ate a Joe, went to Albert's, and he was seen on camera. So we know he had his phone, and we know he was with the car. And we know that the car and the phone were basically at the crime scene at the time of, well, we don't know the phone because the phone was turned off, but that does not look good. It's too obvious. It's like, really, that you should have just had it off all day then or something. But you couldn't. You probably needed it on because you needed it to plan things. You needed it to use. You need to use it for this and that and whatever. But that's it, y'all. I love you guys so much. Stay tuned for my next live stream if you guys are into spiritual stuff. I'm actually going to probably do that one tomorrow night instead. So just stay tuned. I will be doing tarot on the trial, and we will probably be taking a little look into the parents of Bryan Kohberger just to kind of see, like, just see, you know, what we see. And we're going to kind of look also at, I don't know about the parents. I was thinking about looking at them, but you know, I think we will take a slight look, but we're also really going to look at the prosecution, and we're going to look at the defense attorney. We're going to look at the prosecutor or the prosecution, the defense, and we're going to kind of see like what's going to happen with both of them. We're going to see like what the defense's energy is coming out as, and what, you know, Ann Taylor, I believe, is the defense attorney's name. So we're going to see how her energy is coming through. We're going to kind of pick up on the vibe and see if we can get an energy read. And then we're going to also take a look at the prosecution. So if you've made it this far, please hashtag justice for the Idaho 4 in the comment section. I love you guys so much. In the main comment section, if you will. And if you have anything to say, any comments, any speculation, any conjecture, please in the comment section. Please like, share, subscribe if you love my vibe and want to become part of the tribe. I would love if you do. I'd love to have you. Thank you guys for stopping by. Thank you for all your support, and our slowly but surely growing community over here. The Spiritual Genie thanks you all and loves you all so much. Let's just say an exiting prayer really quick here. I want to kind of always end this off on the note of on celebrating the victims, right? So Holy Spirit, please protect the families and the souls of Zaina, Ethan, Kaylee, and Madison. Please remove any negative energy that might be lingering in anyone that's watching this video now. Any negative energy that may be lingering in my being at this time. Any malicious or malintentful energy that does not serve and that does not belong, please return to sender. And please just help everyone to, you know, stay vigilant, Holy Spirit, and look out for each other and to love themselves. Okay. Love you guys self, love yourself, love yourself up, love yourself, love every day, love people like tomorrow might be the last, because we really never We really never know when it is our last day. Life is so precious. And that's one thing that this is teaching me every day, is to value the ones I love, to treasure them and treasure every moment. Okay, you guys, I love you so much. Until next time, I'm the Spiritual Genie. Thank you for stopping.